Hello and welcome back to True Crime Guys podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and Andy's here late with me tonight. You getting over a little cold there, bud?
Oh, yes, Michael. I was hoping I was going to have that like sexy cold voice, but nah.
No, you're pretty much back to normal.
Just hyped, I'm all hopped up on cold medicine over here, baby.
Yeah. Well, good. At least you took Dayquil.
Right?
Yeah. You'll be good. But guys, before we get into this older case, oldie but a goodie. Goodie? Well, oldie but an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Took place in the 50s, okay?
Timely.
Yeah. It's definitely not short on brutality. So
most things were not then.
No. But before we get into it, guys, I got to remind you can catch these episodes early and ad-free on Patreon, patreon.com/truecrimeguys. Speaking of Patreon, I want to give a shout out to a new special patron, Angelica. Thank you for joining Patreon this week on the Creep of the Crop. Creep of the Crop tier. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And Angelica, if you got a case suggestion, send it our way. We'll do our best to cover it. But today, we are covering the Cook family murders.
Ooh.
Okay? Happened in Canada.
Oh, Canada, you say, eh?
It did, back in 1959. June of 1959, to be exact. And it happened in the town of Stettler, Alberta, Andy. Raymond and Daisy Cook, along with their 5 young children, were found brutally murdered. Their bodies were stuffed into a grease pit beneath their own garage.
Oh.
It was actually in the center of the garage.
A grease pit?
Yeah, I think it was for oil changes and stuff.
Okay.
I think it would be, yeah. But the shocking part was who police believed committed the crime. Despite no hard evidence, clearly and only circumstantial, police arrested Raymond Cook's eldest son from a previous marriage, Robert Cook. And he was charged with the murders and sentenced to death, becoming the last man ever executed in Alberta, Andy. Fun fact for you.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But the question is, was Robert Cook truly guilty, or was an innocent man killed? We don't know.
I will give it to Canada already. The fact that this guy was the last one in the 50s, they were like, we may have killed an innocent man. We probably shouldn't kill anybody else ever again just to be safe.
I think they amended it to only if you killed a police officer or a prison guard, then you got life, or then you got death, right?
Okay.
Up until the 70s. And then in the 70s, they were like, okay, nobody gets death anymore.
Okay. We learned our lesson. Okay.
Fine.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. All right. Well, Andy, let's get into it, man.
I will.
I sit here in my death cell, I know not why, for the evidence proved me innocent, and that is no lie. 7 members of my family murdered to date. The jury, on a guess, would make it number 8. Was it planned that way, or was it just fate? My lawyer's family threatened the same. What reason can there be for such a dirty game? The judge directed pay no heed and reject that lead. Pay no heed to another one. Pay no heed to the shirt and gun. Close your eyes and need not see. 2 places at once I could not be. So I ask you, is it strange that I am sentenced to the noose, while my family's killer is on the loose? He wiped his prints, all traces of the crime, had a stained suit beneath the mattress. No doubt he knew it was mine. His purpose was clear, to make sure the missing cook would take the fall while he got off the hook. My family's funeral I wanted to attend, but I escaped and sealed my fate in the end. I pray God told them of the hounds and the hare that haunted me day by day and haunted me by night. Bloodhounds and helicopters, what a sight. They called me armed and dangerous. That is so funny, I laugh till I'm dead. I've heard of justice, but where can it be? I looked in the dictionary, behold, there it is to see. When I asked my lawyer, he just shook his head. Justice will only come long after you're dead. So you people of the world, take note. It's murder when the innocent die at the end of a rope. That was a poem by Robert Raymond Cook, written in 1960, just before he was put to death. All right, so let's start with the man himself, Robert Raymond Cook. He was born June 15, 1937, in Hanna, Alberta, Canada, to parents Josephine and Raymond Cook. Now, Raymond had a passion for engines and big dreams for his family, but his life had other plans. And when Robert was only 9 years old, tragedy struck their young family. And on September 16th, 1946, his mother, Josephine, died during surgery. Doctors were actually trying to correct her bowel. they were correcting a volvulus, which is basically a twisting of the bowel.
Oh, okay.
The bowel. Yeah. Very, very painful, but she did not make it through the surgery. From that moment on, it was just Raymond and Robert. Raymond kept working in the garage and basically tried to be mom and dad. And by the time Robert was 10, he wasn't just watching his dad work on engines. He was learning quite a bit. He really had nothing else to do. He's probably spending a lot of time with dad in the garage, right?
1946 or whatever, 1950, single dad raising a kid as a mechanic. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this kid is a grease monkey already.
No doubt, because at 10 years old, he was already driving.
Yeah, absolutely.
It started with joyrides and whatnot. What were you going to say, Andy?
I was going to say, oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a fucking mechanic's son. He's like, hey, go out there and pick up the Dodge, bring it around back for me.
That's right. But it wasn't long, though. It started with joyrides, but quickly, Robert figured out how to steal cars. And it really wasn't hard in the 50s because people typically left their keys in the ignition. It wasn't that hard. It was like the town had basically just, gave him the green light to drive anyone's car.
Yeah.
And plus he's 10, so he's very unsuspecting.
Yeah. Who in this town's going to steal a car?
Yeah.
Is that child steal my car?
Son of a bitch. Again? But meanwhile, Raymond had met someone new, Daisy Mae Gaspar. She was 10 years younger than Raymond, and she was actually Robert's teacher in 3rd and 4th grade. So their paths crossed pretty often through parent-teacher conferences and meetings and whatnot because Robert's behavior wasn't really good at school.
It almost sounds like a Hallmark movie, to be fair. A little bit.
It really does.
Single dad, rambunctious son, falls in love with a 3rd grade teacher. I think we could help this boy together.
Then the boy kills the family. Oh, wait.
Oh,
wait. This took a turn. I think this is like TNT or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Robert's behavior wasn't great at school, and Daisy was often the bearer of bad news. But because of this, Daisy and Raymond grew close. Close enough that in the summer of 1949, they got married when Robert was just 12. And the new couple settled down and had their first child together, a baby boy named Gerard. He was born February 1st, 1950. And not long after Gerard, the Cook family moved to a new town called Stettler, a move that Robert did not care for at all. I mean, it's a rough age, too, right? I mean, he's 12, 13.
Everyone in this town locks their cars.
Nobody. This fucking sucks, dude. Yeah, but I mean, no 12, 13-year-old wants to uproot from their life.
Especially a 12, 13-year-old who's already working at a small business. I mean,
he's got connections, right? He's got easy marks in this town.
Right? It's got regular customers at this point.
So their new little home in Stettler, it wasn't nothing fancy, but it was nice, right? It was cozy. It was charming, as they say.
Yeah.
About small homes. One thing that stood out was the separate garage, which Raymond really liked because he could use it to obviously work on cars.
Yeah.
Right? And Robert too. And as time went on, Raymond and Daisy had more children, though. Patrick was born in 1951, Christopher in 1952, little Kathy in 1954, and their youngest, Lydia, was born in 1956. With every baby, Robert felt more and more left out, as you could imagine.
Yeah.
Right? He's the oldest, but he's also from a previous marriage.
He's the only one who's not this family, not this mom.
Exactly. He didn't feel close. He didn't feel as close to his dad anymore. It seemed like Raymond was focused on his new family, and Robert kind of didn't feel like he belonged at all. And I think because of that, his crimes started escalating. More to like breaking and entering, Grand Theft Auto, but for real. He's learning like to hot wire cars. He's easily entering locked cars. But I mean, god dang, cars back then.
You got you a Slim
Jim, bro. I mean, come on, dude.
Whole lock just came on out.
Right, seriously. But as a teenager, Robert discovered alcohol. Isn't that when we all? But that's when things really spiraled for him, though. From the ages of 13 to 19, he was arrested and convicted 19 times.
Yeah, when you discover alcohol around 13, that's when decisions start going real bad.
Yeah, well, they do that in the UK.
Well, I mean, not 13. You're not
Was
out
it
drinking.
14?
You're not out drinking with your buddies at 13. And
not drinking with your buddies. You're drinking with your parents.
Well, yeah, at home you can have a sip of wine. I'm saying you're not out having a fucking bender at 13.
No. This kid's stealing cars and fucking hitting the bars, bro. No, most of his charges were for breaking into homes. And of course, stealing cars, yeah. He was in and out of reform schools and juvenile detention centers, and his life basically became a revolving door of arrests and short bursts of freedom. even into adulthood. While Robert drifted in and out of trouble, life back home just kept carrying on. And in 1958, Robert was sentenced to 2 years at the Prince Albert Federal Prison. While serving his time, he took up boxing, and he actually thought about turning it into a career.
It's the fucking Charles Bronson of Canada over here,
right?
man.
Seriously. Well, I mean, that's what he thought. I don't know if he was any good at it.
No.
But that's
I don't know, man. Some of them Canadian boys, they will throw some fucking fisticuff.
For sure. I just don't know if Robert in particular. You know what I'm saying? I've seen Letterkenny.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Motherfuckers can throw a haymaker.
I do feel like so far that the life this Robert kid's been living, I feel like he could hold his own in a tussle.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But however, during his stay at this prison, another inmate struck him in the head with a lead pipe. After the incident, Robert was never the same. He became quite short-tempered and prone to sudden outbursts, which we see a lot with head injuries.
And see, you can't do that in a boxing match. You can't bring out a lead pipe.
You cannot.
Nope.
You cannot. And also, that kind of destroys that boxing career, too. You don't want to go on to get punched in the head for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
If you just took,
a serious head injury.
A serious head injury right there. But then something unexpected and incredibly lucky happened, honestly, Andy. On June 23rd, 1959, Robert Raymond Cook, inmate number 7185, was released from prison. Not because he served his time, not because of good behavior. It was a frickin' royal gesture.
Fucking got a favor called in?
Dude, pure luck, bro. Queen Elizabeth II was visiting Canada. She and Prince Charles were in town for the grand opening of the St. Lawrence Seaway, which connected the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean. As part of an old Commonwealth tradition, the monarch granted pardons to a few carefully chosen prisoners. And Robert Cook happened to be one of those prisoners, dude.
Jesus Christ.
And, dude, when he was released, he didn't waste any time. He had a buddy in there. His name was Jimmy. And him and Jimmy dipped out. They went straight to the bars in Saskatoon.
I would love to see how they picked the prisoners to get pardoned. Like, what if it was like the Hunger Games? Like, what the queen just walks through and just been like, you, that one, not that one. just walking by, just picking them out of a line.
I don't know. Maybe it was just because at that time he was so young, for one.
Yeah.
And he had a string of petty thefts.
Oh, yeah.
And things like that.
In my head, I just love the idea of just Queen Elizabeth
like
just
that.
walking by, just picking random guys just being like, yes! And just like, what?
I mean, to be honest, he's a pretty handsome fella.
Oh, yeah.
You know who like the main white guy is in Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
The guy plays like Barry or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Ryan Hurst.
He looks like him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of looks like him. Yeah. So anyways, after they're done hitting the bars, Robert and Jimmy, they caught a bus to Edmonton, which is Jimmy's hometown. And when Robert saw Jimmy off in a shared taxi and then made his way to the hotel. But Robert wasn't about to lay low. I mean, why would he? He's completely free.
He's the queen's chosen.
He's not out on parole. He's not out on probation.
Yeah, this isn't leave.
He's completely free. So later that day, he walked into a car dealership in Edmonton, already thinking about his next ride. And there it was, a white 1959 Chevy Impala convertible. It was bold, it was fast, and Robert had to have it. It was his dream car.
God damn.
They are a badass car. Look that up, guys. 1959 Chevy Impala convertible. Just look that shit up. But he told the salesman that he had a station wagon to trade in. He said it was back in Stettler, and he just needed to go pick it up. On June 25th, 1959, Robert left Edmonton and arrived in Stettler. Now, here's where things get odd. Instead of heading straight home to see his family, where the car was, who had no idea that he was coming, right? Robert just wandered aimlessly around downtown Stettler.
Okay. Just got off the bus being like, I actually don't know my way around. Shit.
I don't know. He's just reminiscing. Who knows, man?
Things have really changed around here, actually.
Maybe the head injury did more. And we'll talk about it. But at around 9 p.m., his father, Raymond, happened to run into him on Main Street. He was downtown as well. So naturally, Raymond was surprised to see his son out of prison, unannounced, and just walking around. But he was like, whatever, I'm grateful, right? So the two embrace. He tells his dad what happened. Queen pardoned me, la la la. Whatever, I got knighted. I don't know what the hell happened.
I think I'm a knight now. I think I'm king.
Right? I don't know what happened. But before heading home, they stopped into the Royal Hotel for beer. And that would actually be the last time anyone would ever see Raymond Cook alive. The next morning, June 25th, 1959, Hood Motors in Edmonton opened its doors to begin the day. This is where the Impala was. So among the early visitors was none other than Robert Cook, of course. He was there bright and early. And this time, he was behind the wheel of that station wagon that he promised, the same one he told the salesman about. Robert introduced him as Raymond Cook, which obviously is his father's name, and claimed to be a full-time diesel mechanic, and he said he made $750 a month. And he said he could put $90 down and pay $100 per month. Boom. I mean, goddamn, man.
You know what? Fuck you. Fuck you, boomers. Fuck you, boomers. You fucking ruined the car market.
You know what's even more frustrating is this is a deal that no one would say no to.
No.
He literally went in there and made his own fucking terms.
Fuck yeah.
Because his terms were obviously negotiable. $100 a month in 1950? Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Hell
that's
yeah.
That's a good amount of money right there for a car payment.
Seriously. Now, the salesman thought things might be a little fishy because he noted that Robert took a long pause before actually responding to being called Raymond. Right? But
that reminds me of my daughter. When she was like a toddler one time. Yeah. She was like, she said, I want to be called her by her middle name. She's like, I want to be called that now. Yeah. Maybe my wife were like, okay. And then like fucking 20 minutes later, we were like, hey, Claire. Harmony. What? Mother.
Yeah, dude. Kids, they all go through that phase. They want to be called something else. They don't like their name for some reason. They meet some other kid that has a cooler name, and they're like, I wish that was my name.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Raymond. Who?
Huh? Exactly. But you know what? The salesman, he decided, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm about to close one of the biggest sales of the week, and I don't really care. It's
almost like the notion of like the Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook is my father. It's like, Raymond. Raymond is my... Raymond. Yes, right.
Exactly. But what's crazy is the salesman also had to overlook the birth year on Robert's driver's license, which read 1908, which he would have obviously had to see to sell him this car, right? So Robert Cook was only 21 at the time, and he's got the license of a man that's 51.
I mean, again, he's not the Paul Rudd of the 50s. I mean, he's not.
No.
Not the Benjamin Button over here being like,
he is not.
What is your secret, my man?
But you know what? It didn't fucking matter because Robert left the dealership driving in that white Chevy Impala. The next morning, when the salesman sat down to wrap things up, he realized that something important was missing. The insurance papers weren't signed.
Oh!
And so, rather than driving all the way to Stettler to fix the issue, he just picked up the phone and called the RCMP station in town. And he explained that he'd sold a car to a man named Raymond Cook and just needed a few insurance forms signed. It was no big deal. We just needed to finish up the sale. So the RCMP agreed to pay Mr. Cook a visit at home.
That's also just a bold thing.
That's a Canada thing, too.
That's a small town Canada type deal.
Yeah, that might not even happen today in Canada, huh?
No, probably not. But that's definitely not happening here.
Oh, hell no. But when the RCMP first arrived at the Cook residence, they noticed the place was quiet. No one answered the door. There was really no signs of life at all. But just as the officers began to regroup, come cruising down the street was a white Chevy Impala. The very car they happened to be looking for.
Cruising down the street in my 6.
The officers flagged it down and pulled him over. Behind the wheel was a young man who introduced himself confidently as Mr. Cook. Why wouldn't he? He is Mr. Cook.
Raymond is my... I'm Raymond. Damn it again.
Fucked it up again. But the officers knew that something didn't add up. When they asked for identification, the man handed over the same driver's license that he handed the car salesman. But the cops didn't go for it, man. They realized the man in front of them was barely in his 20s. And so he got arrested immediately, at least for questioning.
Like I said,
right? They're like, we're going to take you in for some more questions at least.
Come with me, McLovin.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of was just like, no. It's the worst fake ID I've ever seen.
Yeah. It didn't take long to confirm who he really was. But Robert had an answer for everything. He told investigators that he had just been released from prison and had reconnected with his father. The two, he claimed, shared a few drinks at the Royal Hotel in Stettler, which they did, and caught up on some lost time, right? Robert explained that his father wanted to help get him back on his feet. So much so that he offered his son the family's old station wagon to use as a trade-in for a brand new car, your dream car, a white Chevy Impala.
Ooh, that's a sweet welcome home present right there.
Seriously. It's like you didn't graduate, bro. You got out of prison.
I mean, you surprised got out of prison. You just showed up in town being like, Papa!
Right? Seriously, dude. You didn't like just pass the bar exam. You got out of prison.
Yeah. For your 19th time.
It ain't even your birthday. Jesus. But according to Robert, he offered his father $4,100 in savings that he tucked away before going to prison. Then, about the license, Robert said that he had lost his driver's license, so he just asked his dad if he could borrow his. And he was like, sure.
Again, that's a 1950s fucking also Canadian thing.
I don't think that even works then.
I just feel like that's such a friendly Canadian thing and being like, oh, look, silly me, I left my driver's license at home. Can I borrow yours? Absolutely, there.
Absolutely, there you go.
Take my license. Here's my keys as well. Why don't you go ahead and take my car?
Here's my Social Security if you have any problems.
Debit card, credit card.
But yeah, apparently his dad agreed to just give him his license, as well as any other paperwork he would need to purchase a car.
Yeah, title for the car, maybe.
Exactly. But when the RCMP asked where his family was now, that's where Robert's story started to kind of unravel. It kind of started to get a little hazy. Because he gave a few different versions. Eventually, he said his father was moving to British Columbia to open a garage and wanted Robert to join him later. The family had supposedly left the night of June 24th, just hours before Robert drove to Edmonton.
Yeah, every family moves in the dead of night.
Yeah, of course.
That disappearing act.
Yeah, for some reason the officers weren't buying it, Andy. They thought the story had a few holes. But while trying to verify his version, RCMP formally charged Robert with obtaining goods under false pretenses, which he did do. So he's like, we're going to hold you on this. Now, during a search of the Impala's trunk, they found something interesting. Tucked in there were the Cook family birth certificates, their insurance policies, Raymond's marriage certificate, the children's report cards, and a suitcase containing 4 sets of children's pajamas, brand new bed sheets, and a photo album belonging to Robert's mother.
That's a weird thing to have in the back of your new car.
Mm-hmm.
You brought all that stuff with you to the dealership?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. Meanwhile, RCMP made another attempt to contact the family, returning once more to the Cook home. Still, no one answered. A call to Raymond's workplace revealed that he hadn't shown up on Friday, raising even more suspicion. Neighbors confirmed that no one had seen or heard from the Cook family in 2 days. Just before midnight, the RCMP returned to the Cook home, this time with probable cause. No signs of the family, but rather than risk disturbing any evidence, they secured the scene, what they knew was a crime scene at this time, and waited for daylight to do a better search. And on the morning of June 27th, RCMP officers entered the home at 11 a.m., and inside, the Saturday paper was still untouched on the floor. In the master bedroom, the sheets had been stripped from the bed and replaced with a heap of clothes. When officers were removing the clothes, they found a mattress that was soaked in blood, wrapped in more blood-stained clothing. Beside it lay a double-barrel shotgun. The mattress from one of the girls' beds was also moved into the master bedroom, and it was drenched in blood as well.
Jeez, just start stacking stuff in there, basically.
Well, maybe the girl was sleeping in there with her parents. Maybe she got scared and she was already in there.
Yeah, possibly.
That's what I assume.
A lot of kids.
I just don't feel like he would have pulled the whole mattress in there for no reason.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of kids in that house.
Yeah. In the back bedroom, where the 3 boys slept, blood covered not only the beds, but it streaked the walls as if someone had tried to clean it up, had tried to wipe it away.
Like just terribly though? Just
yes,
like
very
all
badly.
The way up the walls?
Just bad. They just smeared it everywhere, basically. Yeah.
Oh, my, just smearing it all. Oh, God. Oh, no. It's everywhere.
Oh, no. But despite the carnage, there were no bodies. And that's when investigators turned their attention to the garage. The air inside the garage was thick with that stench, Andy. And you know what I'm talking about.
Ooh, that decomposing death.
They knew it immediately. Cardboard sheets were all over the floor, covered in grease or who knows. And in the center of the garage's grease pit, there was the door. The door to the pit was partially covered with all these pieces of cardboard and all this mess. And the cardboard was stained red in a lot of places as well.
That doesn't look like motor oil to me, does it?
No. Officers removed the cardboard, then the wooden planks underneath. And what they saw next, fair warning, is disturbing. They saw the legs of two individuals jutted out from the dark pit, covered in bed sheets and paper and other trash. All 7 members of the Cook family were buried in the pit. Raymond, Daisy, and all 5 children. Each had been murdered while still in their pajamas. Daisy had been shot in the head, Raymond in the chest, and then in the head. And then the children were bludgeoned with the shotgun stock. The violence was so extreme, the coroner said that the victims were nearly unrecognizable. The timeline was clear. The Cook family had been murdered 3 days before they were discovered, and all eyes turned to Robert. Robert had a reputation for lying, right? I mean, nobody could deny that, but never for violence, at least not that we knew of.
Yeah, at this point, he's just kind of
other than the
like, hey, I'm more of a car thief,
right?
You know,
It's like, so you got hit in the head with a pipe for being docile. I don't.
Yeah.
And then also you thought about being a boxing.
I mean, I can understand.
You thought about doing boxing. So, are you? I don't know. You might have a little more tendency to violence than you think.
Maybe.
Yeah. But anyways, but it stood out to most people that knew him that he was more of a liar, less of a violent type. They thought he was soft-spoken, honestly. But not that he could have killed his entire family. And he denied it all the time. But the evidence and his shifting stories, it just told a different story, and there's a lot of circumstantial evidence. Now, despite his protest, Robert Cook was formally charged with capital murder that Monday morning. Immediately after his arraignment, Robert gave his first official statement about his whereabouts in the days surrounding the murders. Once again, he denied any involvement. According to him, the day after he got out of jail, he went to Bowden, Alberta, to retrieve $4,300 that he'd stashed before his incarceration. Money he claimed to have stolen in earlier robberies. He confesses to all kinds of shit, by the way.
Told my dad it was savings. I saved it from crime. But
yeah, exactly. He said he gave $4,100 of it to his father, which is what he said in the original story. And he claimed he also handed over his blue prison suit, since Raymond didn't have any nice clothes to wear. The same blue suit that was later found stuffed under a mattress at the crime scene, which I find kind of odd.
When he says his blue prison suit, that's also a weird thing. It's like, was this your inmate outfit? Because normally they don't.
Also a Canada thing.
Like, I've never seen prisoners get sent home or released and still wearing their prison jumpsuit.
No, dude, maybe it's a suit. Because they're saying like it's nice. You need to look this up. Do you have your phone? Google that right quick. See if Canada used to send their prisoners home in a suit. Maybe they would. Maybe like, hey, look at what we did. Look how we reformed them. Look at the suit they have. I don't know. Maybe we're sounding really stupid right now. I really don't know. But this same suit was found at the crime scene, and I mean that kind of lines up, I guess. But why would the father stash it under the mattress if you gave it to him?
Yeah.
It's almost like it was stuck there on purpose. But why would Robert stick his own suit there on purpose, right? It's one of those few little ticks in the, maybe he didn't.
Yeah, maybe he did not.
Exactly. But Robert's version didn't match anything that he told the police earlier, aside from the $4,100. But especially not this part about him dropping his parents off at the bus station in Edmonton, right? I mean, that really doesn't add up to the evidence either. And his story was full of contradictions. When police pressed him, asking who else could have done it if he didn't, Robert was genuinely lost. He was confused. He didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
I mean, but that still doesn't mean he did it. It still doesn't, at this point. But Robert was ordered to undergo a 30-day psychiatric assessment at the Panoa Mental Hospital.
Yeah.
They wanted to know if he was fit to stand trial. So over the next few days, Robert continued talking, but his behavior didn't sit well with the psychiatric staff. His insistence on innocence came off as hollow, they said. And so Robert now was floating a new theory. maybe someone who knew about the money that he had given his dad committed the murders to steal it.
Ooh, okay. Another theory comes out.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think that timeline would work out, right? Because if you had to go all the way to this other town to get the 4,300 and then you take the 4,100 to your dad back in Stettler, it's like, did you do all that exactly on the day you got out? Because if not, I don't think that would work out. But he did blab a lot to people in prison. So it's possible that he could have, it could have been Jimmy. Remember his buddy Jimmy that got out?
Fucking Jimmy!
Got a fucking Jimmy, dude.
Fucking Jimmy just disappeared.
I'm putting a spotlight on you, Jimmy. No, I'm just kidding.
Where you been, Jimmy?
But Robert insisted he had nothing to do with the murders. In fact, he claimed he didn't know that the pit in the garage even existed. Now that is bullshit.
Oh, yeah, you knew that fucking existed.
There's no way you didn't know about a pit in the middle of your garage that your dad worked on. But to be fair, he probably didn't have a lot to do with the family when they moved there.
No, probably not at that point.
He wasn't at home a lot, which would make it easier for him to off them all.
Mm-hmm.
He was growing apart from them for years and years, feeling like the family stain probably.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe not. But yeah, he used to watch his dad working there all the time. He had to have spent time in there. But in that garage, I just don't think he was clueless about the pit. But
no. And I looked up, by the way, the blue prison suit, and the only thing I can think of is maybe they gave him kind of like almost like guards uniform to leave in, or like just like casual clothes.
Yeah.
Because it's like the guards wore some like blue dress suits, but yeah, the prisoners weren't wearing didn't look like blue jumpers. So yeah, maybe it was just like the blue suit he had on when he got arrested back then, like at trial or whatever.
Yeah.
The suit he wore to prison.
If anybody knows, send us a message on that. I'd like some clarification. But Robert, even though he was arrested, he still wanted to go to his family's funeral, but the police wouldn't let him. It just didn't make any sense to them. And honestly, I think the police were already convinced that he did it. So they're like, there's no way that you're going. But Robert wasn't giving up. And on July 10th, 1959, just days after being committed for psychiatric assessment, he escaped custody. Robert, that slippery fella, he slipped out a window in the dead of night, vanishing from a maximum security facility.
A fucking 1950s Canadian maximum security prison must have literally just been somebody's shed. Like, all right, you're just going to sit back there, okay, until Monday. Promise you won't leave?
It's like,
okay.
Y'all forgot the most important part about jail windows. Bars.
Locks.
Freaking bars, dude.
Dude.
What the hell? But Robert wasted no time. He stole a car, he hit the road, speeding straight towards Stettler. He was going to that damn funeral.
Mm-hmm.
But RCMP officers spotted the vehicle on Highway 12, and one of them emptied his entire magazine trying to stop him.
Jesus Christ.
They went all-American on him, dude.
Are you sure this is Canada now?
They crossed the border. They're like, open fire!
He crossed the border into a hail of gunfire, swung back around into Canada.
They crossed into Michigan. Fire!
Oh, no.
Oh, shit. But moments later, though, the car did crash into a field, so he hit something important. But when they reached the wreck, Robert was nowhere to be found. He had vanished again. He'd stolen another car, and this time the manhunt intensified. Over 200 officers were mobilized, scouring the countryside for any trace of Robert.
This man was playing Grand Theft Auto in real
life. He
was,
was, dude.
Just jumping car to car, getting the wanted levels up.
Just crashing it, running. Oh, man. But finally, on July 13th, 4 days after his escape, a farmer spotted a strange fella lurking around his barn. It was Robert.
Robert?
Yeah, it was God. Robert, is that you?
Just lurking back there?
Quit that lurking. But he was arrested without a fight near Bashaw, Alberta, and he was transferred to Fort Saskatchewan prison. Robert Cook's trial began on November 30th, 1959 in Red Deer. From the onset, he always declared that he was innocent. And while the prosecution couldn't establish a clear motive, they argued that they had enough circumstantial evidence to build a strong case against him. In a letter to his lawyer, Robert claimed that he had an airtight alibi. According to him, at approximately 2:30 a.m., around the time his family was murdered, he was already in Edmonton, breaking into a dry cleaner alongside an old prison acquaintance, Sonny Wilson.
Hey, I couldn't have done this crime at this time because I was doing this crime at that time.
Meanwhile, Sonny on probation. What the fuck?
You fucking son throw me under the bus. I was at a Waffle House.
Son of a bitch.
I was at a Tim Hortons just trying to get my donuts.
But in his account, Robert said that he left Stettler at about 10:30 p.m. He arrived in Edmonton shortly after midnight and happened to run into Sonny. And the two allegedly decided, hey, you want to go breaking in and steal some stuff?
I mean, just like old friends.
Just like old days, man. Come on.
I was on my way to this dry cleaners. You want to hang? You want to hang back?
Yeah, they're closed. That's the point. Yeah, we're going.
I don't see a bag with you.
Yeah.
It's empty. It's not going to be when we leave.
But afterward, Robert said he dropped Sonny off downtown around 4:30 a.m. and then parked at the Mayfair Hotel where he slept in his car for a few hours before heading inside. Essentially, his argument was this. Okay, I couldn't have killed my family if I was committing a different crime.
Right?
Right? I was doing a crime somewhere else, so how could I have done this crime here?
Yeah. And I love his reasoning of like, and then I went and slept in my car for a few hours. Yeah, you can't verify that at all.
No.
That's what I did.
Yeah, exactly. And each time police presented new evidence, Robert's story seemed to shift a little bit. To some, this was the behavior of a man trying to manipulate the narrative, right? Whether out of guilt or desperation. But Sonny Wilson confirmed Robert's story, believe it or not.
Fucking Sonny
He did. Freaking Sonny's a real one, bro. He was
Sonny
like,
showed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was with me.
Yeah, fuck, I did that shit.
Yeah, we did that shit. He was with me.
I did that shit.
Yeah, what about it? But yeah, he admitted to being with him during the break-in. But Sonny's testimony didn't resolve the lingering questions. During cross-examination, the prosecution challenged Robert with questions that he really struggled to answer. Why would he risk his newfound freedom for something as petty as breaking and entering? Why did his father, a man with no known criminal ties, accept stolen money in exchange for a car? Why would the entire Cook family leave town by public transport, supposedly relocating to British Columbia, when they already had a perfectly functional vehicle? Mm-hmm. Right.
Like I said, that Dead of Night disappearance act. Like most families like
yeah, exactly. There were a lot of inconsistencies. Like, how could Raymond Cook have purchased a garage in another province without his car to get there, an ID, or his wallet, his freaking wallet?
Huh? How was he planning on setting up shop once he got there?
Also, a neighbor of Raymond's testified that Raymond said that he was going to help him move some furniture that weekend, and he never canceled or anything.
I mean, that doesn't really help the case. That could just be, I'll gladly help you move that couch
but what I'm saying
Saturday.
Is
We are leaving. We're fucking leaving.
No, I was going to say, if he was planning on leaving, I mean, hopefully he wouldn't say that, but this is, again, 1950s.
I was going to say, your neighbor's
this is the
like,
kind of shit you do,
Raymond,
okay?
you want to help me move this ice box next Saturday? Sure, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Second thought, honey, we are moving to BC.
We're fucking moving.
We're out of here.
Dead of night.
But yeah. But he did never cancel the plans, right? And that it just didn't look good.
Yeah, that's not Canadian.
It did not look good. Still, Robert's defense team held firm. They argued that the case against him was entirely circumstantial. The murder weapon, a 60-year-old shotgun, had never been linked directly to Robert. Police couldn't even confirm that it had been inside the Cook home before the murders. They pointed to the lack of physical evidence. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the house, the mother's and one of the children's. That's just kind of odd, huh? You guys aren't good at finding fingerprints.
Yeah, this is a house where a family lives.
It's not a big house either.
There's children in this house.
I'm going to tell you where to touch the fucking doorways. I guarantee you, your kids are putting their hands all over the dang doorways.
Stair banisters.
Come on.
Fucking look at the countertops. Go touch a countertop. It's sticky.
Jesus.
Promise you it's sticky.
Right? Another witness placed Robert in Edmonton, though, at the time of the murders. His lawyer also emphasized the logistics, right? So let's think about it. It had taken 4 grown men 2 hours to remove the bodies from the pit beneath the house. Mm-hmm. Okay? So was it really possible that one man killed 7 people, cleaned up the scene, kind of good, kind of shitty actually, moved all the bodies, and then drove to Edmonton in just a few hours?
Mm-hmm. And the notion of killing the whole family in a sense of you only shot the mother and the father and then apparently beat the rest of the children to death.
Right.
And so you're telling your argument is that one man did this,
right?
And that none of these children fought back or ran away or ran out of if there's a room, there's a room with 3 boys in it. Like they all sleep in one room in the back. You're telling me that this man, that's the story that you're saying, is that one man walked in the room and beat 3 of them to death.
Right.
And none of them left or screamed or ran out of the room or did anything. Like these are 3 Canadian farm boys or like sons of a mechanic. Fucking, they would have stabbed his ass with an ice skate. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It just doesn't seem likely. It really doesn't. It would take a hell of a lot of energy, I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was a young man who just got out of prison, probably was working out. He was training to be a boxer. He was in great shape, but I mean, man, that's
yeah. But like I said, try doing anything with 5 children in a house.
Right.
Like, they're not going to stay. They're not going to stay put.
Right. It's a weird thing, man. So then there was the question of the money. The prosecution suggested that the $4,100 could have been the motive. Robert had been heard bragging about the money in prison, and he had big plans for it after his release. Maybe someone overheard that and come for it, like we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. It is possible, either way. But either way, the defense maintained that this was pure speculation. They didn't deny Robert was a flawed man. They kind of painted him as a petty criminal, not a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah.
But still, the question lingered. If Robert didn't do it, then who did? And why did every piece of evidence, every road, every contradiction in the case lead back to Robert? He's really the only person surrounded in all this.
Mm-hmm. But again, no actual evidence. It's all circumstantial.
Not linked to him. Yeah. Then Robert added another twist when he later claimed that upon returning home Saturday afternoon, he discovered 2 suitcases in a metal box in the trunk of his Impala. I guess he had remembered that he had put those boxes in there, with all that personal family stuff.
Yeah.
He insisted those items hadn't been there when he left on Thursday. He assumed that his father left them for him to take to British Columbia. That's what he said. See, I think he put those bags there for that alibi. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean?
Somebody, yeah.
Yeah. But these, like I said, these weren't travel bags. They were household items. They were, old keepsakes that they're not really necessities, especially not when you first get somewhere, but it's stuff you don't want to lose either.
Yeah. It's not the stuff that you take with you when you're traveling, like for a weekend trip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And none of this stuff was incriminating as far as the crime, but they helped establish a timeline. You see, because when the police officer stopped Robert in the Impala the first time, they searched the trunk. He popped the trunk, and he seen the suitcases in the car then. So, if true, it meant that Robert had them well before he claimed to have found them, likely taking them from the house right after the murders.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that inconsistency was devastating to his credibility. And after nearly 2 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with their decision. He was guilty. On December 10, 1959, Robert Raymond Cook was sentenced to hang for the murder of his family. But Robert's lawyer wasn't done. After Robert's conviction, his attorney filed for a new trial. He argued that several of Robert's statements to police had been taken before he was officially cautioned about his rights, and therefore those statements should have been inadmissible in court.
Arguably, yeah, to an extent.
They were. They absolutely were. The court agreed. The second trial was granted and held in Edmonton. But despite the new setting and the whole fresh proceedings, the outcome really didn't change. There's just no other. You got to have another suspect, dude. Mm-hmm. Y'all needed to find somebody else during that time. They tried.
Yeah, they had to find something else.
Yeah. But on June 20th, 1960, Robert Raymond Cook was once again found guilty of murdering his family. He never stopped insisting that he was innocent. And in a final desperate bid for clemency, he penned a poem from his death cell, an emotional protest against what he believed was a grave injustice, which I actually used for the intro of this episode. That was written by Robert himself. But despite the poem and his repeated pleas, his request to have his death sentence commuted to life in prison was denied. In the early hours of November 15th, 1960, Robert Cook was hanged at Fort Saskatchewan Provincial Jail. He was pronounced dead at around 12 a.m. Before his execution, Robert requested that his body be donated to medical research. His remains were given to the University of Alberta Hospital, and his eyes were donated to the Edmonton Eye Bank. His case didn't fade away, though. It became the subject of academic study, public debate, and even a 2000 stage play titled The End of the Rope. The question that has lingered ever since is, did the justice system execute the wrong man? Many have argued that the evidence used to convict Robert was purely circumstantial and far too weak to justify a death sentence. I can kind of see that. I do think it's too weak for a death sentence.
It's there, yeah. There, especially, and I understand back at this time that it was the 1950s. They didn't have DNA back then. There were no cameras around for any of this. But at the same time, you had no witnesses. You had no fingerprints of his. You had no blood on him. You had no blood in the car or anything like that. It was like, I mean, all of it's circumstantial to an extent, and I don't think it justifies a death sentence by any means. And I'm usually against the death penalty either way.
Right.
But yeah, with just circumstantial evidence.
Yeah. But they claimed the widespread media coverage at the time made a fair trial virtually impossible. 7 years after his execution, Parliament amended Canada's criminal code, restricting the death penalty to only those convicted of murdering police officers or prison guards, like I said earlier, until 1976. And then they abolished capital punishment entirely. But yet, decades later, we're still talking about Robert Raymond Cook. We're just rubbing that one mistake Canada made right in their face.
I mean, like I said,
it's not really, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he did it?
I don't know if he did it. If he did it, I don't think he did it by himself. I don't think he did it alone.
Think Sonny helped him or Jimmy or both?
It might be one of them or might be somebody else that he didn't throw under the bus.
Why?
But
would
like I
Sonny
said,
back his alibi up?
Because I do think he did that crime with Sonny. Like, I do think that. I think he probably did go out, rob that laundromat with Sonny, but I don't know if he went straight home and killed his family.
Right.
Now, do I think that maybe he had a hand in it? Possibly. Do I think that maybe he, somebody got to his family trying to get to him? No. But I could see that maybe, he may have tipped somebody off to go and take care of his family so that he would get everything and then be able to, have more capital or whatever, all this money that he inherits. Even though he's not inheriting a bunch of money, but to a guy who just got out of prison, anything's a lot. Yeah. So, he's bragging about having this much money in prison.
I mean, $4,000 is a lot of money back then.
He's bragging about having all this money in prison, and maybe somebody's heard that his family's got money. Maybe he's set something up, but I don't think that he did it by himself.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're like I argued earlier. You're expecting me to say that one man shot both the parents because he has to kill them first. He has to kill them first because they're the biggest threats.
Right.
So he shoots both of them with a shotgun. A double barrel shotgun, and those were 3 shots that were fired.
Correct.
So that means he had to reload.
Yep. Maybe he only had one extra shell.
So it's like, either way, it's like, so you shot 3 times, a double barrel shotgun in a small house, and those children, and then proceeded to walk to the other rooms and beat each child individually to death with the butt of the shotgun. And none of them ran out. None of them ran. None of them left the house screaming. Like, it's hard to believe that one person could do that, even if it's a family member.
Right.
Like, when you got that many people and this guy's just shown up that night, everybody's not
This reminds me
receptive.
of the Patsy Troxdale case that we did, It's like, do I believe that she was capable of killing the family? Probably. But moving the bodies and doing all that too afterwards? I don't know.
In that amount of time, and again, not showing and having no blood on him or in the car or in any of the stuff that he took with him. So it's like, it's more about, I don't think that he did it, but I do think that maybe somebody else did it. He may have had a hand in it, or maybe he just accidentally did. But maybe he showed back up at the house, found all this shit, and was like, I'm just going to take what I think I need, and because I know this is going to get blamed on me, I'm going to try and create an alibi so that I don't go to prison. It's like, it sounds like somebody who's trying to create an alibi so they don't go to prison, but necessarily not somebody who did the crime, but who thinks they are going to get blamed for this crime.
Right.
Because he has no real alibi other than, I was robbing a laundromat with my friend.
Yeah.
Well, please say that was.
Well, what looks really bad is that as soon as he gets out of prison, right, he goes to the car dealership and tells that guy he's going to bring a station wagon, which he knows where he can get a station wagon. And he definitely hasn't talked to his parents about this.
No, exactly. He shows up and surprises his dad.
So you have a plan to take this car, their only vehicle, and you're going to take it and you're going to trade it in for your dream car. And that's, I mean, just think about that for a second. There's no possible way in his mind that he can think that that his parents are just going to give it to him.
No.
So he had already made up his mind at that point that they were not going to be in the picture.
Yeah.
To object.
See,
right?
I have a little bit of a theory, but it's not provable. But my theory, like I said, I think somebody else did the crime, maybe either on his behalf or he just knew it was going to happen.
Right.
And he did go into town. He went to the car dealership first. I'm going to have a station wagon tomorrow. He knew the crime was going to happen. Like, he knew that his family was going to get murdered. So then he goes back to Stettler, and he's like, remember, they say he's wandering around downtown. He's not going home.
He's waiting for it to happen.
He's waiting for it to happen, but then his dad runs into him unexpectedly downtown.
Right.
So then he has to fucking on the fly, he's ran into his dad accidentally. He was thinking his parents are going to get murdered, or his dad's going to get murdered.
Saying, Andy.
So now his dad brings him into a hotel. They have drinks together. His dad's like, "No, come back home. Come back to the house."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Ugh, fuck. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's go back to the house." And like he has to go.
Yeah.
Like I can almost see this being an accidental thing of like maybe he planned it, or maybe he just kind of nudged somebody into this notion of like,
that makes a lot of sense. So he was buying time because he was planning on probably spending one night in town while it happens, right? Because it happened while they were sleeping.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yep.
So he was trying to buy all that time, but he's ran into his dad, remember, at like 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Not expecting his dad to be downtown.
Exactly. He ran into him late. So he's like, "What are you still doing up?"
Yeah, and what are you doing here? So
okay,
that's my theory.
That's an interesting theory, Andy. But either way, you deserve to go to prison if you orchestrated your family's murder.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't think it's a death penalty for what the evidence they had against him. I don't think that qualifies for a death penalty.
Nah.
But at the same time,
maybe in Florida.
In Florida, fuck. Texas.
Yeah.
Texas?
Florida
bitch.
or Texas, yeah.
He wouldn't even have got the second trial in Texas. He would have already been dead before this.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. I think he had to have something to do with it because of the whole car deal.
Yeah, because he was getting
just
something
too
out of it.
confident that he was getting that station wagon, and you just have to know your parents are going to be out of the way in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. He was trying to get the things he wanted and get the fuck out of there.
Yep.
Get that car, trade it in for the car he wants, go back, get the box of his mother's stuff.
Yep.
The things that he wants, and get the hell out of there.
Exactly.
I think he got caught going back.
Yeah.
So.
No doubt. I'll tell you the things that I want. Oh my Gaia.
Ooh, you can't leave home without that, Michael.
You cannot.
Cannot go on the run without that.
Grab some Oh My Gaia if you're going to be on the road for a while. Oh My Gaia is an innovative, all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. And guys, if you check them out at ohmygaia.com, ohmygaia.com, there are tons of scents to choose from, but if you check them out there, you can use the code word Crimepine, Crimepine, for 15% off your order. And there are tons of scents to choose from. And we have our very own scent called True Crime Pine. If you don't know where to start, that's a great place. There's also Barbershop, Sailors, Sweet Pea, Pear, Bergamot Amber, Fireside, Honeysuckle, Lumberjack, Leather. A lot of good fall scents right there. Just hitting on all cylinders right there. All that fall. Right there in the middle, that Leather, Lumberjack, Honeysuckle, Fireside. Maybe not Honeysuckle. It's kind of springy.
That's more springy.
Yeah. But Fireside.
Ooh. Yeah, I feel my basic bitch coming out.
Yeah.
Get me a pumpkin spice latte.
That's good stuff.
I don't want to. Oh, actually, no. Oh, Christmas season's about to be upon us, Michael. And I've already got eggnog in my fridge.
Oh, my God, Andy. Eggnog and Mariah Carey. Here we go again.
One of those I can live without.
God.
One of those I will fight you for.
But again, guys, that's ohmygaia.com, ohmygaia.com. Thank you guys so much for supporting our sponsors who support us. We appreciate it. And especially, speaking of support, patreon.com/True Crime Guys. Best way to support the show and what we're doing here at True Crime Guys. We appreciate you. Make sure you leave a review. Make sure you follow on social media at True Crime Guys, wherever you are, to stay up to date on every episode we release and everything that's going on in the true crime world. All right, Andy, you got anything?
I don't think so, Michael. That was a good episode.
Yeah, it was. That was an interesting. I always like the little blast from the past ones.
Mm-hmm. And a good Canadian story.
A good Canadian story. We don't go to the Great White North very often.
No, we should though.
We should. Grab me some Canadian cases.
They got a dodgy past up there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've seen what the Geneva Convention was written for.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for us. Check out truecrimeguys.com to get some free time, and also patreon.com/truecrimeguys. But other than that, guys, I guess you just have to keep on creeping.
Bye.